Good morning, everyone. Today I'm back with the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Ugly Truth by Jeff Heaney. And last time I finished at page 100 and no, actually, last time I finished at page 100, 200 actually. And on the first paragraph, let's continue. And everything in Gammy's house is old pearls and stuff, so there's nothing for kids to entertain himself with. I complained to Mom a few years ago, and she bought some Legos to keep at Gammy's house. But Gammy glued them together in one big block because she didn't like the little pieces like all over the floor. Besides that, there's not a whole lot for kids to enjoy at Gammy's. She does have some hot candy in a jar of her mantle, and last year I had a few pieces, but the candy tastes awful. It was really chewy like bubble gum. I ended up getting really sick and had to lie down on the couch for a few hours. Groan. It turns out the candy is the jar is really old. In fact, Dad said some candies was there when he was a little kid, and he even found a picture in Gammy's album to prove it. Little Frankie enjoys a sweet. Speaking of pictures, Gammy really needs to update the ones she's got on her mantle. She has a picture of every single person in the family, and the one of me and Roger is from when we went on Santa's village about 8 years ago. I kept meaning to throw that picture away when no one looking, because that's just the kind of thing that will crop up when you do my celebrity biography later on. Season's meeting. Santa's meeting. All the furniture in Gammy's house is old too, and apparently it's really valuable. I'm sure there's gonna be a big fight over who's gonna get what once Gammy passes away. In fact, family have really started putting sticky notes on furniture to get head starter. Peg, Doma, Mary. I think that's pretty disrespectful to Gammy, but I admit there are one of the or two items I'm really hoping to snag for myself. Greg. Saturday. Sunday. During the wedding rehearsal last night, I kept thinking Uncle Gary was gonna take me aside and tell me where the bachelor party was gonna be, but it didn't happen. Then I looked at the wedding program and saw my name at the bottom. Ring Flower Boy, Manny Heffley. Assistant Flower Boy, Greg Heffley. Please, no flash photography in the church. Flash. I tried to get out of it. I took my assistant boy duties over to Benji, but Mom said he was a reader this year. And besides, me and Manny had watching White Texas. So while Raleigh was having a blast at Roger's party, I was holding a basket filling with rose petals from Manny. And I noticed Roderick was taking a bunch of pictures. So I'd be surprised if he hasn't already uploaded them by now. After the wedding ceremony, we went into the great hall after the food was being served. But before Uncle Gary's best man, Leonard stood up and gave a toast. Leonard said he had a really funny story about Uncle Gary and Sandra from when they were dating and wanted to share it with everyone. He said that a couple of months ago, Uncle Gary took Sandra to a baseball game, and he was planning on breaking up with her because he wanted to start dating her sister instead. But before Uncle Gary could have the breakup talk with Sandra, a plane flew across the sky with a banner behind it. Marry me, Sandra. Leonard said there must be some other guy in the stadium with a girlfriend named Sandra. But Uncle Gary's Sandra reacted before he had a chance to say anything. Yes, yes. Leonard said Uncle Gary wanted to explain that it was all just misunderstanding, but he was too afraid that the guys in the seat before around them might beat him up if he let Sandra down. So Uncle Gary decided to go along with it. At first, I thought Leonardo's story was just a joke, but Uncle Gary wasn't exactly jumping out of his chair to say it wasn't true. Anyway, I have a feeling we'll be we'll be back next year for Uncle Gary's 5th wedding. After the reception, our family went back to the Gammy's house to get changed. I was gathering up my stuff when Dad walked into my room and said Gammy wanted to talk to me. At first, I couldn't figure out why Gammy wanted to speak to me in private, but then I realized I was about to get the talk. Then, when I walked down the hallway to Gammy's sitting room, I was a little nervous, but I was also kind of excited. Gammy's been around the block, the block for about a million times, and I figured she's got a lot of wisdom stored up. And to be honest with you, these days I really use some. I walked in and shut the door behind me. Gammy was sitting in a fancy chair, so I sat across from her. Once I got settled, Gammy started talking. Gammy told me that most kids are my age are in a big rush to grow up, but that if I was smart, I'd enjoy them right while it lasts. Now I've heard this same speech from Mom and Dad about a billion times, so I was kind of disappointed by whether them was all heading. But Gammy wasn't finished. She said that I was getting ready to enter the awkward years and that my lips were gonna get all puffy and my skin was gonna get bad and my head was gonna look too big for my body until my junior or senior year of high school. Well, then she said I shouldn't let anyone take my pictures for the next few years. I'd regret it isn't if they did. She told me she gave the same advice to people like Dad, Uncle Gary, and Uncle Joe, but they didn't listen to her. Uncle Joe, Dad, Uncle Gary. But Gammy still wasn't done. She told me that getting older is no walk in the park and that getting to be her age really stings. Then she started talking about a bunch of Hermione's and started rolling down a sock to show me that she was talking about. That's when I excused myself and quickly left the room. I'm glad I got out of there before Gammy decided to take off any more clothes. A half an hour later, we packed up our things, got in the car, and headed home. I was just happy the weekend was over. I love my relatives and all, but there's only so much family together, so I can't take. Hey, poopy diapers here. And I think we'll leave there for tomorrow on Monday. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.